Or
I guess.
go ahead.
I didn't know I was doing that, but. So we'll call the meeting to order. This is the Sustainable Community Board meeting for the month of January. So the second item of business is public comment.
There are none.
There is none. Next, we'll have the disposition of minutes from our February 25th, 2021 meeting. Does anybody have any questions or comments about the minutes from that meeting?
And Sharon, excuse me, Deborah, if you'd like to take minutes again, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Since you do such a good job.
Thank you. So if there's no comments or questions about the minutes, do I hear a motion to approve?
So move.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of February 25, 2021. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? It's approved unanimously. So there is no old business. Under new business, the town has received 9 applications requesting a total of $67,722 of an available $50,000 in community legacy grant funds. So our board is tasked with prioritizing and awarding the following projects. And the projects are listed in alphanumeric order.
Mr. Chairman, before we begin,
Yes.
given that my property is B on the list, would you prefer that I excuse myself from the meeting?
I would say only, recuse yourself for that item, I suppose.
Correct. Yeah. So Frank, if you just want to recuse yourself from that item,
Okay,
you're more than welcome to present your own project as a citizen. However, if you feel more comfortable, I can do that as well.
either way.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
suppose we'll move down the list in the order we have them on our list. And the first project is 106 East Main Street.
All right. And Amy, there's no one here from public comment. Okay, so I will present all the cases then. So the first, yeah, as Mark said, 106 East Main Street. They're looking for roof and chimney repairs and looks like, let's see. In your meeting packets, if you go to the pictures, it looks like the roof's in pretty rough shape. It's the old shingles. And also for clarity's sake, let's go over all the projects before we prioritize.
Yeah.
And then, at the end, we'll prioritize everything. So are there any questions on this? It's basically a roof replacement and then a chimney replacement as well.
I have no questions.
Okay, hearing no questions, we'll just move on to 115 East Main Street. Frank, would you like to explain your project?
But basically, we are repainting all of the trim on the house, of which there is sizable. And if I tried to do it myself, my doctor would kill me, and she lives across the street, so she would know. They're also replacing a couple of minor pieces of trim, but that's noise level. But basically, anything that's white is getting repainted.
All right. Are there any questions for Frank on this project? It's pretty simple. All right, moving on, 332 East Main Street. The applicant is looking for new siding and shutters in the front. Current siding has powder that is coming off and the aluminum siding underneath is showing through. Shutters are cracked and fading. As you can see the pictures, they are doing so. Are there any questions for this one? Hearing none, we'll move on. 502 East Main Street. Just for those who are not familiar, this is the new Creamery. They are looking to replace the existing roof It's in poor shape, leaking, outdated, is intended to be replaced with a new metal roof to update and enhance the property. And one update for this property, the board may remember last year or 2 years ago, we approved a project to repaint the exterior. Since the property was sold, we required the previous owner to reimburse the town for those funds because in the grant agreement, it states that if it changes, if it's going to change the appearance of the property, they're required to reimburse the town. So since the new owner is going to be completely redoing the exterior, they reimburse the town. So that should not affect this decision. Okay, moving on. I'm sorry.
So did that money go back into this pot of funds, or where did that money go?
It went into the previous year pot of funds.
Okay.
And then just for transparency purposes, due to COVID, we did email the board members, each of the board members during last year to approve projects. All projects that were past their meeting date were approved unanimously. So just for transparency purposes, and those funds were used, all the funds. 125 North Seaton Avenue, metal roof needs to be scraped, patched, and painted. Fairly simple project. Any questions? Moving on, 12 West Main Street, Emmitsburg Memorial VFW. The brick joints are very old and falling apart. The job will be to repoint the mortar in between all bricks in front of the building. Any questions on this one? Okay. 16-20 West Main Street. These will be 28 windows need to be replaced. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if this is going to be approved by the Maryland Historical Trust. They're going to have to show that they're in extreme deterioration for it to be an approved project. However, we don't submit these to MHT until the board approves the projects, because that's how the state likes it to be done.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, so it's a toss up. Moving on, 115 West Main Street. This is a second application for the same applicant. So this is one of his other buildings, painting of a metal seam roof, scrape sand and remove loose roof coating, patch holes, and paint on aluminum roof coating. This is where the State Line Guns property is. That roof's looking pretty rough as well. And then our last project is 317 West Main Street. This is a full restoration of 11 6x6 double hung windows, repair sand and repaint jams, repair sand and repaint front door sill, masonry repair above 2 lintels. All windows are currently inoperative or non-functional with deteriorating wood and glazing. Energy efficiency is non-existing. Paint is currently chipping or peeling. Exterior jams, lintels and front door sill are in need of repair to rotten wood and repainted. Masonry is bulging above is it lintels? Lintels?
Lintels.
Lintels. 2 lintels. She would like to preserve the original wood windows as opposed to replacement. So this is exactly the kind of project that MHT likes to see instead of full replacement.
Yeah.
Repairing. So those are all the projects. I have 2 recommendations. As you saw, there's 2 projects for 1 applicant. For fairness, I would recommend that we probably remove one of those since there's more money asked than we have. Also, for the VFW, they've received a significant amount of money over the years from the town. So I would ask the board to consider that as well when we prioritize projects. So other than that, I'll leave the board to decide what order you would like to do this.
Okay. So I guess we'll start. How does the board feel with Zach's recommendations? I guess for eliminating one of Mr. and Mrs. Wilson's proposals.
And they are 125 North Seaton Avenue and 115 West Main Street.
Yes, not 115 East, 115 West.
West, right?
Every once in a while, about once a month, like my doorbell rings and there's somebody standing there with a gun in his hand. And the first couple of times it happened, it shook me up a little bit.
So if we are to eliminate one of those, that we need to decide from the photos, it would appear that the 115 West Main roof is in a little worse shape, although it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And it has more visibility.
Yeah. So I guess if we are to eliminate one, I would eliminate the 125 West Seaton Ave.
North Seaton.
It's North Seaton.
Yep.
Well, down below, he has a mailing address. Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
can't read
yeah.
the writing. Okay.
These requests were received in November. Do we want to, consider anything about when they submitted them?
To be honest, we gave everybody till December 31st. So I wouldn't recommend, removing based on submittal. Now, if it was after December 31st, absolutely. But none of them were.
So what's the thinking of the board?
I think it is a very good idea. I think it is a fair idea with two presented. And I think the choice of the the roof maybe more in need of repair is the 115 West Main, and definitely noticeable 125 North from the front looks, very nice.
Mhm.
But they all, so as soon as, however you take care of your roof, so goes your house. So maybe they could submit next year as well.
If you see me on my phone, I'm going to be doing the calculator so we can keep,
Yeah.
chunk pricing down here.
Any other thoughts?
Okay, so doing that, we have to still chip away $15,637.50.
Okay.
And how about my second recommendation?
Well, I'm not sure
I'm sorry.
have a consensus here yet. I haven't heard.
Sure.
No, I think that's a reasonable.
Okay.
Reasonable.
So are we in agreement to eliminate the property at 125 North Seaton?
Yes.
You're good, Sharon.
Okay. That good with you, Sharon?
Yes. Either way,
Is that good with you?
yes.
Okay. I can't see people's lips
I thought
moving.
Yeah, all we can see is reflections. in you.
You see yourself, right?
Okay.
Is that a vote or?
A consensus is fine. Consent. At the end, we'll do a final vote.
So then the other suggestion by Zach was to eliminate the VFW property.
Yeah, I think the VFW is an amazing organization. Don't get me wrong there. I believe, Frank, you'd probably know more than anybody. I believe they received a lot of funds over the years.
They've received quite a bit for painting and maintenance to the front of the building. looking at the front of the building, at the photographs that they provided, first of all, I don't see anything falling apart, quote unquote. If there are other places that are falling apart, they didn't photograph them. The other thing is, it looks to me like this is nothing but brick veneer. This is not structural. If it were structural, there would be typically one row out of 6 or 7 where all you saw for the entire row was the ends of the bricks,
Mhm.
because they go in to catch multiple layers. So I think this is just brick veneer. But I don't see, I mean, yes, the joints are eroding a little bit, but I don't see anything falling apart. So I think this is a project that could be postponed to next year without any problem.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, I mean, there is some erosion, but like you say, Frank, it doesn't seem to be a huge amount of deterioration.
Mm-mm. I'll be honest with you, my house needs repointing more than this one does.
All right, I heard consensus.
So we'll eliminate 12 West Main.
All right,
Okay.
we have to chip away $5,137.50. Is there any suggestions on if there's any project that are over that amount where we could knock out now? Or I really don't like giving partial amounts of money to different places, because that might be, some people might have saved up the 50% match. And it might kill the project, but that's up to the board.
The other one that concerns me is 16 to 20 West Main. We have given them quite a bit of money. Not to say that it hasn't been well used. I don't know that those windows need to be replaced. I don't see any evidence. I see some that need to be repainted, but I don't see that 28 windows need to be replaced on that building. The ones on the front seem to be in fairly good shape, at least according to the photographs.
What's the problem, Lee?
That amount covers your
It does.
figures.
Yep.
All the others are higher.
We even have a patio door on here. I don't see any patio door.
Say again, I couldn't hear you.
I said on the bill, there's for a rolling patio door. Oh, it said total price, nothing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just, I guess, the itemized from the.
Excuse me 1 second.
Sure.
We just realized.
Mr. Mayor? So Zach stepped out for a minute. We're in the middle of our board meeting.
We're without adult supervision at the moment.
Two-way traffic, so
Good.
that'll add to our sustainability. I'd like you to be there if we have it open. We'll be sure there. They opened it 10 years ago.
That's true.
Keep it up.
So
It does say
based on the
job-
photo,
On the
I'm sorry, go
job
ahead.
that some of the wood is rotted. Even though it doesn't show it in the pictures. Bathroom requires both sashes to be tempered glass building code. You see it, it's on the page
Mhm.
5
Yes.
at the top.
So what we could do is, we could approve all the other projects and then add this to the next, order of significance. So if one of the other project would fall through or it'd be cheaper, we could give them money to replace some of the windows that are, more severely rotted than the other ones.
That makes sense.
I'm probably missing where it says what these windows are made of. Are they vinyl?
The new ones or the old
The
ones?
new ones? And if so, will the state approve them? Yep, I missed it. First page, all windows are white vinyl unless otherwise stated.
Right. Yep. I see that as well.
They wouldn't approve it because it's not the same as what it was.
It's a very good possibility that the state, it depends on who reviews the applications. Sometimes they approve them, sometimes they don't. So it really depends. This one, I will be honest, I think it's going to be difficult to get approved.
Mhm.
I mean, if they can show severe deterioration on some, it looks like the attic windows a little
Right.
deteriorated. I believe they may approve that. This would leave us with a positive balance of $741. So we could, the board could say, we'll replace some of your deteriorated windows up to $741 unless we receive more funds if another project backs out.
Mhm.
So,
That makes sense.
yeah.
So does that sound good to the rest of the board?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
All right, now one last item, if we could prioritize the ones that got cut. So it sounded like 1620 would be the first in line, if I'm reading the board correctly.
Yes.
Okay, and then between 125 North Seaton Avenue and
I
then,
would do the house residence first because this is roof. Right?
Say
sure,
again?
sure, yeah.
I would do the 120 or the North Seaton because it's his house. And the roof being the roof before I would do some mortar stuff.
Sure, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Frank said, yep.
Yep.
Deborah, sound good?
I'm not sure what I'm agreeing to. Could
Okay,
you, reiterate that?
Yeah, so Sharon said that she would recommend the roof before the before the mortaring
Oh, We're
replacement.
prioritizing the ones that were cut.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, I would agree.
Okay, so 1620 would be first, the second would be 125 North Seaton, and then the third would be 12 West Main. And then that takes care of all the business. If I could get an approval, official motion for everything.
So we don't really need to prioritize the others.
Mm-mm.
So-
I
So-
move we approve the decisions that we have made.
So we're saying that 1620 gets cut first? Or are they the first to go back on,
It-
first to be used if things were changed?
If
The
we-
later, yep, it would be if we
1620.
get another project cut or less money, they would be first in line.
So we're saying 1620 would be first. And then 125 would be next and 12 would be third.
Correct.
So we're approving the requests of 106 East Main, 115 East Main, 332 East Main, 502 East Main, 115 West Main, and 317 West Main.
Correct.
So we have,
I would actually, I don't mean to go back, but I would actually not have 1620 first on the, revisiting them. I would rather have the,
Roof.
I would rather have the roof 125. And then, let me look again at this.
Yeah, but to
And-
do it this year, he's already getting money
and
for
then-
one project.
And then I would do the VFW, and then I would do 1620. I would put them in that priority if that's of any importance. Because it's after the budget is used.
So the reason we were eliminating the one at 125 North Seaton was because that individual
He had
was
2 places.
already getting funds at another project. On his other project.
True, true. But it is a residence. And it does have good exposure. It does present a need. It is a much, it's a smaller amount of money as well. And would close off that home as being needed because everything's on the exterior. I would say that would be, finish the house properly.
So how does everyone else feel about that?
I don't know. This one has actually rotted window or part, even though it's only a couple. We said about giving them a partial to correct the windows that, I mean, how rotten if you can let them go.
Yeah, if there is some rotten wood there, I mean, that's more of a concern to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
I
it'll
don't
be
see,
falling out.
I don't see anything in the application for 125 North Seaton that says the roof is leaking.
No,
No,
It just says it needs to be scraped and patched.
Yeah, it looks like it has superficial rust.
Mhm.
and the one backside on this side. I don't know, next to the last page. looks
Right,
Pretty
which
rough up in there and that.
Which is where I would expect it to be, because that's the south exposure.
mhm.
But I don't see that it's a, excuse me, that it's a critical need at the moment.
So back to 1620 first, then 12, then 125.
That's what I would,
That suits
that's
me.
my thought.
12 some mortar.
Yeah, didn't we say 16 to 20 and then 125
Yes.
and then
12.
and then
wet
12?
lath.
Yeah, the mortar.
Yeah, and we're debating the 3 that we've eliminated
know.
Right.
essentially in the order, in case we find more money.
Right.
Right.
So,
And there is a possibility that we will get another $10,000. The town is now a Main Street affiliate. So we can receive $10,000 per year of pillow tax funds. However, I'm not sure what the mayor wants to do with that yet. So there is a possibility that I will be emailing you and letting you know, yes, we received another 10,000. So
okay.
it's a possibility.
Okay, so we did have a motion on the floor actually from Frank to approve the ones previously mentioned. Do I have a second?
Let's see if she's satisfied.
I can second the motion.
Okay,
Okay,
so we have a motion to approve the projects of 106, 115, 332, 502, 115, and 317
Yes.
to approve their requests. And then the 3 that we eliminated are 125 North Seaton, 12 West Main, and 16 to 20 West Main. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So it carries unanimously. So thank you.
All right.
So it says public comment again here on my list, but
do Don't everybody speak up at once.
Have we ever had anyone attend these meetings?
Not ever.
Not-
I think
not
I'm the
I've-
closest.
Right, right, exactly, yeah.
So is there any other business, Zach, or is that it?
That's it.
So I believe we're adjourned.
All right.
We fulfilled our annual obligation.